Man, so name something just for the record, so we get the record on the records.
So
Yeah, the record's on the record.
Right,
Like,
right.
what were those records you did with Donald?
Yeah, of course, Tri-City, the Tri-City records. Karen Clark, Twinkies, Masterpiece record. T.D. Jakes, Sacred Love Songs record.
Really?
Rodney Bryant.
Rodney Bryant, yeah.
He's a keeper record. Never Seen the Righteous.
Never See the Righteous.
In the
That's you gonna keep.
Yeah. And so, the funny story behind
You
that.
gotta tell it. You gotta tell it. G. I mean, you did Micah Stampley.
I did Micah Stampley's first record.
Holiness, all of that.
Yeah, and that was. I had a great time doing that record. It was challenging.
Okay.
The reason being because he sounded so close to. We did Marvin Sapp's Perfect Peace. That next morning, they called me and told me that I immediately need to go to the emergency room. That I needed to get several pints of blood. So I remember being discharged from the hospital. I remember going to the grocery store, and I received a call, and it was the doctor was telling me that what they found was.
What up, guys? You know who it is. It's your boy John Mike back again with the Hangout Podcast, and I have a very, very special guest with me on today. You got to get churchy with none other than Bishop Cedric Thompson.
My brother.
The man, the
Yes,
myth,
sir.
the legend.
I'm just trying to keep my shoes tied.
look, keeping the shoes tied is one thing, but now again, you gotta have your socks on.
Hey man,
they don't
listen,
be wearing socks now.
They low cut.
You be seeing these prom pictures around this time of year. People don't be wearing socks.
It's almost time to go to moccasins.
The moccasins.
Yeah.
The moccasins. Hey. Yeah, the strap-ons.
Exactly.
Get on that, man.
Poop, and you out. Yeah.
Man, it is good to finally connect with you. I know
Thanks
you've been rolling and you've been moving, and I've been rolling and moving. We've been trying to make this happen for several months.
For a minute, man.
And we finally got an opportunity to kind of pop in and sit with you in this amazing studio of yourself, man.
Oh, thanks,
man. So
it's my honor, man, and of course, we're brothers.
Yeah.
You're my friend, man, and I'm honored to be in a relationship with you, man.
Wow.
And proud of everything you're doing, man. So
wow.
I go to the stuff you're doing as well, man. To get tidbits as well.
Oh man, don't say it. Nah.
Got your sounds and your plugins, man. So. Man, grateful, man.
Man, it's honor. Since you showed me nothing but love since I landed here in Charlotte. So it's been an honor, man. I consider you to be a mentor, just as much as a friend. So I glean and learn a lot from you, as we always do.
Most definitely.
But man, you're the star of the show today. We're here with you to talk about your life, your career, what you do. We do these hangouts. I've done them with all of our favorite producers, and being able to do the things. So it's an honor to be able to sit down with you and kind of highlight you and shine a light, because I don't think people realize. I know those that know, but I think at large, a lot of people don't realize how much of a contribution you have made to the gospel industry as a whole, as gospel musicians as a whole, to gospel producers as a whole. I mean, you've literally in my book, and I'm not just saying this because I consider you my mentor, that you're just kind of the GOAT for me.
Oh, wow.
I mean, because you've touched so many iconic records, you work with so many iconic artists. I mean, some of the progressions that I was listening. It was a friend. I won't call him out, so because everybody would know who he is. But he was playing some stuff. We was in a session a few days ago, and he was playing some stuff, and he was like, yeah. And I was like, that sound like Cedric Thompson. He was like, really? I was like, yeah. And he was like, man, I hadn't really followed Ced like that. I was like, bro, that's Ced all day.
Oh, wow.
All day. And so I don't think people realize just the influence that you is. So I hope that on this episode we can really kind of highlight that journey and highlight, some of the notable things that you've been a part of and notable things that you've kind of locked in on and stuff like that, man.
Most definitely.
So just for people who don't know who you are and what you've done, like if you had to sum yourself up and tell the world who Cedric Thompson is, what would you say?
First of all, someone that loves God. I always say someone that's always just trying to keep my shoes tied. I'm a guy that loves to have fun.
Yeah.
You know, love my wife dearly.
Yeah.
Shout out to LaJune. Love you. Love my kids. You know,
Man.
I'm a family guy.
Yeah.
You know, and enjoy our grandkids, and then under that, the music side of me.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, of course, you know, I started out in music. You know, before all of that, but that's basically who I am. You know, just a normal guy that loves his family. You know, love what I do in terms of doing music. You know, and love to be able to bring people vision
Yeah.
to pass or forward, if you will.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm basically just a normal guy, man.
Man, that sounds way more than normal to me. But you've, I mean, and not like it's just crazy to speak of the, you know, the connect your family and the connection. Because I mean, your wife is LaJune Thompson, phenomenal singer. I mean, we'd be here all day talking about LaJune's
Most
career
definitely.
just as much as yours.
Yeah.
But also your son, CJ Thompson,
Yep.
who is, I mean, Charlie, what he's on doing with Charlie Puth now
He's
and
out with Charlie
everybody.
Puth, man, and I'm trying to get him in. I have to get on his schedule.
You had to get on his schedule.
I may call and he's in China somewhere, you know.
Dang. I mean, and so many iconic things that CJ is coming in and blazing up a path of his
Most
own
definitely.
right now.
Most
It's just
definitely.
crazy to see how even your family is impacting the industry as well as just yourself. But to your point, where does that journey start at, man? Like, you know, tell us about like, you know, how did you get into music? How did you, I mean, where does that, what are those roots lie and how do we get to where we are now?
Well, I'm from Anderson, South Carolina, which is right below Greenville, South Carolina. And growing up, I was raised by my grandparents.
Okay.
So the musical side of my family is on my father's side, which was my grandmother.
Okay.
And I started at the age of 3, and of course I was too young, you know, to take formal training. So my grandmother, she started me out, and she took me as far as she could. And when I became of age, I started taking formal training.
Okay.
So my brother and I used to sing as a duo.
Really?
We used to sing as a duo, and I always have fun with this and kind of teasing. I say that God tricked me.
Okay.
You know, because when I was playing, basically I was studying classical music. You
Okay,
know,
yeah.
formal music, of course. And my brother and I used to sing. On occasions, our cousin wouldn't show up. Our cousin played for us,
Okay.
so I was forced to learn those songs.
Okay.
You know, so at that time, then, you know, even though we were singing in the church, you know, I wasn't really thinking about the playing side
Yeah.
of it. Although, you know, I was, you know, taking lessons in the whole nine. So around maybe 10 or 11, I'm sorry, I started playing for my church,
Okay.
and helped form our fast forwarding. When I got into high school, I helped form our gospel group there
Okay.
as well. Experienced my first recording at 14.
Okay.
There was a local group there. They decided to do a recording, and they would call me from time to time to play. So I did that session, and the recording bug bit me. You know?
Okay.
So I was one that always looked at, you know, the credits on records, you know, the whole nine. And there was a common name that always showed up on the records that I gravitated to. So thankfully, I wasn't just restricted to just listening to gospel.
Right. Yeah.
So I will always see the name Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones. It was always showing up on those records. So I was always curious at how, you know, they were deriving these sounds.
Yeah.
And how these records were made and the whole nine. So when I formed my personal group as well, and we went in to record, and then I remember we used to go to the GMWA every year. My grandmother, she was a chapter rep. And this particular year, it was in New York. And one of the songs that I was playing for the concert, this young man, he was directing it. I didn't know who he was. Afterwards, he found me and just gave me some encouraging words. Fast forwarding, I graduate from high school, move here to Charlotte to go to Johnson C. Smith.
Okay.
While there, I started playing for the gospel choir. We rehearsed on Thursday nights. One evening after rehearsal, me and my buddy, we were going down the street to go grab something to eat. I heard this rehearsal. I heard these people singing, and the closer we got to it, I was like, man, this guy, whoever this guy is, sound like John P. Key.
When you got one of those modes where I don't know what to do, I'm stuck.
You're right.
All I do is listen to something like that, and it's like, okay, now
Now,
I got something.
Exactly.
I have like every single plugin, but some plugins you be spending like hours just trying to find that one sound. You took the time to really curate and find like a group of like sounds that's really usable, that get straight to the point.
You're giving them enough to get started so they can walk into a room with someone and be like, all right, man, what am I missing?
I love the plug-in, man. I think it's incredible. I think people are gonna be like, wow. I mean, you got the sounds, people looking for sounds like that. Look, now they just get the plug-in.
You know what I mean? So you literally can just cook a complete record like just from this plugin. And for me, it's like not about a whole bunch of sounds, it's about production.
He gonna come out the gate sounding legit.
Yeah.
Out the gate sounding legit because of something like this. So I'm telling everybody, man, get the juice pack.
It's the truth, bro. I got to have it.
It's fire. It's definitely juice. D-Lo got the juice.
Okay.
You know, so all right, I need to rewind. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I skipped something.
Okay.
So prior to that, at the time he wasn't a pastor.
Yeah.
He came to Simpsonville, which is nearby where I grew up, and he conducted a musical workshop. And they called me to actually be the musician for the workshop.
Now, this wasn't VIP at that time, was it?
Nothing about VIP.
Okay.
No. So no, this was back. This was 80. This had to be 86 now.
Okay.
So I did the workshop for him, and so fast forwarding back up to college. We're walking down to rehearsal. Walking down to grab something to eat. I hear this rehearsal, and I'm like, man, whoever this guy is, he love himself some John P. Key. So my buddy was like, yeah, he sure does, man. So the closer we get, I'm like, man, this guy love John P. Key, man. And so we were going to, I don't know if you're familiar with the Johnson C. Smith area.
Yeah, I've been over there.
So down the street, there was this place, it may be still there, called Chicken King.
I heard Chicken King.
Yeah, so across the street was a small church, and I told my buddy, I said, hey man, let's go in here and see what's happening. So they were rehearsing with the doors open, and I stood there and I was like, man, this is John P. Key, and I never put him being here in Charlotte.
Yeah.
You know, so and he recognized me at the front door, motioned for me to come up, play the rest of the rehearsal.
Wow.
And from there, I think it was 3 days later, he asked if he had to go to Texas. And from there, I became his music director.
Wow.
And so, long story short, from there, you know, that's how my musical journey began on the professional side.
That's crazy. Walking into a rehearsal. At Chicken, across the street from Chicken King.
Yeah.
John P. Key is in there, remembers you from years back.
Exactly.
Come play.
Come up, MD.
Wow.
You know, and there as well, that's where I met LeJune. So after we left there, we got married, and we moved to Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I became minister of music at this church, Deliverance Temple of Truth. The bishop was Bishop Ralph Dunny Grays. He was also a big songwriter, artist as well. While there, we had formed the group, The Promise.
Okay.
I did the song called Magnify Him, Women in Chester Women in Chester Mass Choir wanted to record the song.
Okay.
They recorded the song, and I didn't. The record sat because we were signed to Word Records, but they went through personnel changes. So it took them a minute, you know, to get it back into the system.
Yeah.
So I didn't think the record was actually coming out because it sat for like about a year and a half almost. So ironically, I got a call from Donald Lawrence. He was working on Rodney Posey's first record,
Okay.
and he wanted to record the song. Literally the weekend before that call, Women to Chester had just recorded it, and I told him, I said, man, Women to Chester just recorded the song.
Wow.
So he asked if I would come up with a song that was similar.
Okay.
So I came up with a song called The Praise, which was the song that Twinkie did with Rodney.
Dang.
And from there, he was mixing the record. He invited LeJune and I to Charlotte. And from there, he asked if I would become a part of his production team.
Man.
And from there, God just kept moving.
Gosh, man, it's just like you just always end up in the right place at the right time.
Those chance encounters, yes,
chance
sir.
encounters, and you just it just butterflies out into,
Most definitely.
into the next thing. So okay, so you tap in with Donald Lawrence. Where so was at that point did you tap out with John P. Key at that point, or were you still doing stuff with him? And did you play on any of those records, those early records with John P. at that time?
So there were early records, but they didn't really have the
massive
notoriety.
Yeah,
right.
They didn't let some blossom out.
Exactly. So, about that time, we had tapped out with P. Key.
Yeah.
And we were, like I said, we had started the group of The Promise.
Yeah.
And actually, the way that became about in terms of the project, a gentleman by the name of Patrick Henderson.
Okay.
Patrick Henderson at the time, I say he actually kind of introduced the praise and worship to the black church. I don't know if you remember years ago those volumes, West Angeles, they used to have those.
Yep.
Those
volume 1, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember them. Yeah, because I remember those records from back in that time. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was Patrick Henderson. Patrick Henderson.
Got it.
He was a producer and he was minister of music there at West Angeles
At that
the
time. Yeah.
So Patrick heard LeJune. He was visiting, I think, some family members in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Wow.
He heard, thanks to Corey Williams, Corey was playing a project that LeJune had sang on with Jimmy Thomas, and he heard LeJune and was mesmerized by her voice.
Yeah.
And wanted to set up a meeting to sign her because he had a production deal with Word. So we went to meet him. At the time, we didn't feel like LeJune was ready to go solo.
Yeah.
So we presented the group to him, The Promise. So that's how The Promise came about. So again, those chance encounters.
Chance encounters.
You never take them for granted.
Wow. So moving through with that into your start of your career with Donald Lawrence. So what was the first record that you did with Donald Lawrence?
So the first record I did with Donald was the Minister record.
Wow. Okay. Which one was that?
That was the record with Winter, Trusting God.
Yeah.
The Anointed Song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's the stuff that I'm talking about that people are like don't know that you've touched like some of these iconic records. That's
Wow.
crazy. I remember that song.
Yep, that was our first record together, and then from there, we just, of course, hosted records.
Yeah.
And productions. Yeah.
Man, so name something just for the record, so we get the record on the records.
So
yeah, the record's on the record.
Right,
like, what was
right.
what were those records you did with Donald?
That, of course, we did, of course, Tri-City, the Tri-City records as well. Karen Clark. We did 2 songs on Twinkie's Masterpiece record.
Really?
And we did some film work on the movie The Associate with Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh yeah. Wow.
What else? The T.D. Jakes Sacred Love Songs record.
Really? Which ones did y'all do on that?
The whole record.
Y'all did the whole record.
Yeah, that was it. So I think Bishop Jakes did maybe I think he did 2 like love songs records or something.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
did the first one.
Y'all did the first one. So y'all did the whole record.
The whole record. Yeah.
So what? So you were doing the production on most of it.
Yes.
So you are my ministry and Sad the Sheets.
Myself and also Danny Witherspoon.
And Danny. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And the Rodney Bryant.
Rodney Bryant. Yeah.
He's a keeper record.
Gosh. Now you were playing live on these records and stuff too, weren't you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's you on keys on We Offer Praise.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. So going back even to try. So what would, because I know you and Kevin Bond were kind of tag teaming the Donald Lawrence stuff.
Yep. We were on the when I came in, they were I was in maybe a year and a half before going into the Bible Stories record. And so not too long afterwards, Kevin went on to do some other work, and so I became, him of the production and Donald's MD at that time. And
so Encourage Yourself, all of those records, all of those iconic songs that Donald did.
Man, so that Never Seen the Righteous.
That You See the Righteous.
When the
That's you on key.
Yeah. And so funny story behind that.
You gotta tell it. You gotta tell it.
I had shared that once before. So we were doing rehearsals for that record at it was a studio here in town called Reflections at the time.
Yeah.
They bought a church down the street from them, so we were doing our rehearsals there. And in rehearsals, all I was really rehearsing on was I was on a Whirly. They have a Wurlitzer there.
Yeah.
So I hadn't bought anything else in there. I was just rehearsing on that, for us to get the foundation and everything done, sketched out. So while going over the Never Seen the Righteous, Donald said, he said, I need you to give me another intro. Because at the time, I really hadn't come up with anything. I was just kind of doing something for the choir.
Right.
So because of the way I came up with the intro was the influence of the sound of the Wurlitzer, because it made me play that way.
Right. Right.
So and that became the intro.
You don't understand how, because let's see, when this song came out in when? 90, I know it was 90s.
Yeah, that was, what was it? Was it 98 or something like that?
That's what I remember, high school. So I was in high school. That intro probably changed, that whole song probably changed my entire perspective on like gospel music at the time. I remember as soon as I heard that, when that intro would come in, I was like, oh, we doing that for offering this Sunday. We doing that. That's the offering song. We playing that. I don't care if the choir know it or not. We doing that. We doing that song.
So I'm gonna give you another tidbit then. So in doing, I don't know, are you familiar with the song Heaven that we did on Karen Clark?
Yeah.
So initially, we really wasn't supposed to do that song. So I think Donald was actually saving it for Tri-City.
Okay.
We had already learned it and been rehearsing it in the whole nine. So that song, we really just kind of did that song as a fill-in in the break for Karen to do her change.
Okay.
So which is why those that got the video, it's not necessarily on the video because she didn't sing it that night. And in that, I said that because I brought that up in relations to the Karen record.
Yeah. And it's the one that was Finally Karen, right?
Finally Karen. And we actually ended up doing 2 or 3 of Karen's record. But I always vowed my inspiration as it relates to playing style is from Thomas Whitfield and Oscar Peterson.
Yeah.
And I know I hadn't mentioned Karen, but I'm coming back to that.
Yeah.
So the way I was turned on to Thomas Whitfield, this particular song Nobody But Jesus. I had already heard the song at the GMWA. The songwriter, Stephen Roberts, he presented it to the choir that year, and they recorded it. So every morning getting up for school, I'm in high school at the time, I would always have the radio on the gospel station, getting ready. And I heard this intro, and I'm like, okay. So then I heard us started singing, and I'm like, wait a minute, this song sounds familiar, but I'm not familiar with this arrangement.
Yeah.
So I was in awe. I called the radio station. I remember at the time that they called them DJs.
Yeah, DJs. Yeah, radio. Disc jockeys.
Yeah, Mr. Willis H. Crosby called him, and I asked him who was playing and produced that song. He pulled the record out and told me it was a guy by the name of Thomas Whitfield.
Wow.
I remember after school, I went to our local record store.
Record store, yeah.
And bought everything that had Thomas Whitfield name on it.
Wow.
And from there, like I said, that inspired me. And of course, I was on to Oscar Peterson. So having said that, back to the Karen thing. So I had always vowed that if I was doing like a whole project, if I had room out some way, I'm going to pay homage to Thomas Whitfield. Dang. So as it relates to Bomb and Gilead,
yeah,
that was my so Whitfield, even though it doesn't necessarily sound like it, but my inspiration behind the groove to that as well was behind Thomas Whitfield.
I can hear it now.
The that's Whitfield. Yeah. And just put a groove to it, Yeah, so.
I mean, like I said, so many, and then y'all did what? Acknowledge Your Presence. We acknowledge your presence. So
now, yeah, and that was on her Heavens Are Telling record.
Heavens Are Telling record, yeah.
Yeah, the one with Mary.
Dang. And that's what I'm saying. So this is the crux of the meat of what I wanted to get into. I mean, Praying Spirit.
Yeah.
You don't understand how these records shaped not just gospel as a whole, but even as me, like how you were listening to Thomas Whitfield. We were listening to y'all guys and what y'all were doing.
Wow.
And it was shaping like the foundation of where everybody is right now. All of those chord changes, like man, because this is back in the time where this before CDs, we still had tape.
Yeah.
We still had and then if you had a Walkman, you was as my grandma would say, you walking in tall cotton.
Most definitely,
if you had a CD player, if you had a Walkman, you was really doing it.
Exactly.
And so we. Yeah, man, I can remember listening to all of those records, man. Just boop, boop, rewind, boop, boop, rewind. And like you said, we go to FYE, you sit there for hours with the little headphones on, looking at the back, looking at credits.
Yeah.
Cedric Thompson,
wow.
Kevin Bond, all these different names. You'd be like,
Most
man,
definitely.
These guys are like the giants right now.
I appreciate that.
And so like and the fact that I'm just sitting here with you now is just, like it's crazy to me after like knowing, and then like I said, I wanted to be able to highlight all of those things, but I know that's just the tip of the iceberg of all of the stuff that you have touched throughout your career. I mean, you did Micah Stampley.
I did Micah Stampley's first record.
Holiness, all of that.
Yeah, and that was, I had a great time doing that record. It was challenging.
Okay.
The reason being, because he sounded so close to.
I'm excited to reveal something game-changing for us and for you as producers and musicians. I want to introduce to you Peculiar Sounds version 2. We've introduced standalone mode, allowing you to use it independently from any DAW. You can now blend up to 2 sounds to create rich and complex textures. We added in 2 brand new effects, the Lo-Fizer and the Mod Filter. The Lo-Fizer gives you instant lo-fi vibes with just a button, while the Mod Filter adds dynamic movement and flow to any sound you apply. apply it to. And we also added the innovative new MIDI browser that provides you with hundreds of chord progressions, melodies, and drum loop MIDI files that you can drag straight into your DAW. And as a bonus, V2 now includes Sounds Off the Block expansion for totally free, bringing the total to over 400 patches. So as you can see, Peculiar Sounds V2 is not just an update, it's a revolutionary new plugin. So make sure you check the website right now and you can get your hands on this game-changing plugin.
I had a great time doing that record. It was challenging.
Okay.
The reason being because he sounded so close to Donnie McClurkin.
Yeah, I can remember that.
So the challenging part of that was to be able to create and display his own identity.
Yeah.
You know, so
y'all definitely found it, man.
Yeah. Credit to Mike as well. Great pens.
Yeah.
And writing songs in the whole nine. So had a great time doing that record, and that record actually it broke a record. Well, actually set a record for the highest charting record as a new artist.
Yeah. Yeah, because he came out literally swinging.
Yeah.
Like, boom. Like.
Yeah, and with a War Cry, and they later. I don't know if you remember those guys. The movies. They had a few series. The something War. I can't remember, but they included that song in the movie.
In the war, yeah. This is a War Cry.
Yeah.
So they got movie placements, all of that stuff like that within the middle of all that. Gosh, man. I mean, what was some of the? Just some other notable records around that time that you can think of that maybe people may not even know that you touched.
Oh wow.
Because all music is trash. It don't tell a story. All music be genius. All of them, they leave off all the stuff.
That part right there. That let me see. So I did this record with this artist, and a lot of people may not be familiar with this particular artist as well, but I had a lot of fun with this particular record because he's a very musical guy as well, a musician himself, kind of by the name of Christopher Gray.
Okay, yeah, I've heard Christopher Gray. Yeah,
Chris Gray, and we did Marvin Sapp's "Perfect Peace," and I heard
you did "I Believe" too, didn't you? Oh, you did that record?
That was Kevin Bond.
Okay. I thought you was on there. Okay.
Yeah, that was Kevin Bond.
So, but you did Perfect Peace.
Did Perfect Peace.
Dang.
Did the Twinkie record live in Charlotte here.
Yeah.
And most people know the Jesus Saves on that record. I'm having a brain fart right now, but I did the not his last record, but I produced the Bishop T.D. Jakes and Potter's House Live in Kenya record.
Oh, the Live in Kenya, the African record. I remember that record.
Yes.
Dang.
Yeah. Had the pleasure of working on this project. As a matter of fact, won the Grammy with this project. It was called the Oh Happy Day record. This company by the name of Vector Management, they have on their roster a host of A-list artists. They had this idea for some of their artists, to do traditional songs, gospel songs. Yeah. And the idea was to pair them also with either a well-known choir or group.
Yeah.
So they signed to EMI. EMI gave me a call to produce the record. And on that record, just to name a few of the artists, was Queen Latifah, Michael McDonald, Mavis Staples, Bon Jovi, a host of people on that record. And so grateful for that. And another record that won the Grammy was Held the Headless record.
Oh, yeah. Dang, yeah. I forgot you did that.
So, I mean, God's blessed me, man.
Man, one day I'll be able to sit back and not remember all of the stuff that I worked on. That'll be a moment to sit back and somebody will be talking to me and they be like, yeah, you did that right. Oh yeah, I did do that. Maybe one of these days that'll be my testimony. But
Bless your heart.
but even fast forwarding to like now, in these last 5 to 10 years, you're still working on work like you did. I Made It Out with John P. Key, right?
So I played.
You played on it. You was a part of the production.
I was a part of the production on the record.
Okay.
So he would still call me, from time to time, and I either do some organ or some key work on some of his projects.
So yeah, you've been touching John P. Key stuff from
forever. And we still have great relationships in the whole nine. So I do some of that stuff, and as of late. Lucinda Moore,
yeah.
And she's been having a pretty good run on her record. A guy by the name of Ty Curry, and B. Slade is on.
Oh yeah.
The title cut, Transition. Gosh. So and I'm doing some film work as well. So like I said, man, I'm grateful.
Man. And so now, as of recent, you just moved over here into this studio space. So kind of tell us a little bit about how that transpired, just getting over here into this because this setup is amazing. We're gonna do a studio tour on this for you guys to be able to see like the entire setup. But this is amazing.
Oh, thanks, man. Props up to Tim Campbell. I was actually. It's ironic. Again, it's those chance encounters.
Yeah.
And
that's what we're gonna title this podcast. We're gonna call this
right.
podcast Chance Encounters.
So I was at the point where I wanted something different because I was kind of tired of the traffic coming through my home.
Yeah.
Because I had decked out my garage and into the studio, but the problem that I ran into was HOA wouldn't let me do anything else to the home. I couldn't add. Because I wanted to add a restroom, to the back end of it, and do a walkaway around as well, so you wouldn't necessarily have to come in.
Exactly.
Or at least be able to put a door, but you couldn't change anything to the exterior of the home as well. So, and not that it was necessarily just a problem, but I just got to a point where I was like I just wanted to kind of get it away.
Yeah.
So I was looking for a spot, and LeJune was here working with Melvin Crispell.
Okay.
And at the time we were looking for a spot to actually do like an unplugged acoustic, version of some tunes with her.
Yeah.
And she hit me. And she was like, this may be a good spot, to do that.
Yeah.
And ironically, in my searching for somewhere to be a home, studio wise, this is one of the spots that I ran across.
Wow.
So set up a meeting, came here, talked with the owner, Tim Campbell, and he welcomed me in. It was a immediate connect with our relationship.
Yeah, and this is the spot where I think Elevation used to have this.
Elevation used to be here. The previous owner, Fred Story, who's a film composer.
Yeah.
I think under his belt, I think he has maybe like 9 to 11 Emmys or so.
Wow.
So Elevation, I think they were in transition of moving into their studio.
Yeah.
Because they end up
doing an in-house
studio. Yeah. So it all worked out, and I've been here now about a year and a half or so.
Dang. Mm-hmm. That's super crazy, man. Just to see how that's kind of transitioned and
Most
stuff
definitely.
like that.
And
so,
I love it,
Yeah.
And like you said, we'll do a tour.
Yeah, just to kind of showcase how it is.
A great environment, sounds great.
Yeah, man,
sounds great.
This control room sounds amazing.
Oh yeah. I love it, and actually, even to the point that I have some other monitors as well, but I had always been so used to listening at these JBLs.
Yeah.
and these Yamahas here,
Yeah.
that they translate here. You know, especially the Yamaha, because I've been so used to listening on NS10s.
Yeah. So now that's what I was going to transition to, the type of gear that you got or whatever. So, you know, you've been rocking with the, I have those, the funny is I have those same, those the HS 5s.
The 5s, yep.
Yep. I have
Yep.
those same ones.
Yep.
And those my first set of monitors.
Yeah.
And so I told my wife been trying, I have them everywhere. They move around my studio so much in different spaces because I know them. Like you said, when you find a good pair.
Yes, sir.
That you know, you
Yes,
just
sir.
kind of stick with it.
Most
so
definitely.
the Yamahas are doing, then you have, what's these JBL what's?
Those are the LSR. I think the 3504s. I think that's right. Don't quote me on the model number, but I know them as well. You know, so and I have some Adams at home.
Okay.
You know, but I just love these. They working here, man.
Wow. So okay, so transitioning into favorite pieces of gear, like when you're working in here, what is it? What are your go-to pieces of gear? Like what's your favorite?
So as of recent,
Mixing is a very, very hard art to master. I know because I've been trying to master this art for several years. That is one of the reasons why I do Mix Mondays. It's a learning environment, and every mix that I do, I learn something new. And I've taken everything that I've learned over the years and we have poured it into our mixing templates. Mixing templates are a great starting place, and we have created several templates that allow you to get up and going quickly, and we have created them for Logic Pro X, we have created them for Pro Tools, for Studio One, for Ableton Live, and so many others. So if you're interested in taking your mixing to the next level, or even just getting started, make sure you check out these links down below in the description of this video and grab your template today.
Like when you're working in here, what are your go-to pieces of gear? Like what's your favorite?
So as of recent, by way of gospel producers, you know, I've been going to the Peculiar Sounds as well.
Oh, come on, man.
You did that, man.
Man, appreciate
y'all
the
did
shout.
that, man. I'm telling you.
Appreciate the shout, man.
Yes, sir. And on all of my references and even my tracks as well, man, I have the Pro Drums.
Really?
Use it, man. And especially, I'll let you hear some refs.
Yeah, we got to see that. We definitely got to get
nothing
some of
but. Some people think it's after drama.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, but of course, you know, this is my classic rack. I call in terms of the synth stuff, but it rarely gets used.
Okay. But you got some pretty good pieces in here. I mean, you got the Phantom XR, Triton rack, Motif rack.
This piece is this particular piece here,
P330.
the P330, which is what everybody actually calls me. So on those staple records that we were talking about, that's what it is. A lot of people think it was the
MKS.
MKS.
But it's P330. So when you did the Donald Lawrence joint, that was the P330?
P330.
I figured that, yeah.
Yep. P330 and the ASR 10.
Wow.
No, as a matter of fact, that's where the wordless is coming from.
Really?
The ASR 10.
So, but these are the exact units that were used on those records.
Exact units, yeah. And if you look at the video, you'll see the ASR 10, you'll see the P330.
We're just looking at
history
here, man.
Maybe 2 or 3 other racks that are at home that's in that video.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. So, but sound wise, I'm mainly going to pianos. It's Keyscape.
Okay. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Got. Guess a go. Yeah. You don't get no better than Keyscape. Man, they put so much time into that thing.
Ooh, man.
I think they said they put like 10 years into just sampling that one piano. Yeah.
Wow.
Just trying to get that grand the
C7.
C7.
Yeah.
Just into getting it right.
Yeah.
Over a decade put into that thing.
Yeah, because prior to I was using either Ivory or Addictive.
Yep. Those are good.
Yeah, and I go to Omnisphere, of course.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know about Anna.
Oh yeah, Anna too. Yeah.
Anna too. You know, and, I mean, it's a host of other plugins. You know, I'm full, man. So, but
those are becoming some of your go-tos, Anna.
Yeah,
and because that's the one by Slate, right?
Yep.
Yep, Slate got that. I've seen that. I haven't messed with that, but
Really?
you like Anna.
I declare by it.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
okay,
Anna
okay,
too is on, man.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. I'm about to dig
good
in.
and thick too, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Anna 2, Omnisphere, Keyscape, those are your go-tos.
Yeah,
Curious Sounds, Pro Drums. I
Pro
heard that in
drums,
there.
yeah, and you know it's a host of other stuff, you know, that I have, but those are the mains,
Okay.
you know, in terms of, you know, production wise.
Yeah. So you do do you do most of your production in the box?
Basically, to be honest with you, 100%
Really?
in the box, you know. So and of course, you know, going in, you know, I'm
Yeah.
using, you know, some of the outboard stuff.
Yeah. What's some of the favorite outboard pieces?
So actually, you turned me on to I don't know if you remember this conversation, because I called you about the Clark.
Oh yeah, the Clark Technic.
The Clark Technic, yeah, 76.
Yeah.
And you turned me on to it wasn't Black Lion. What's it?
I know some of that website that mods them.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
mod site. Yeah, because I did the same thing. I got to go look at my history.
Is it something audio?
Something.
I can't remember.
I know
what
you're
it
talking
is.
about.
Yeah,
They do the mods on
They
the
do the
on
mods.
on the Clark. So you got yours mod. You got the 76 KT 76, and you got it modded.
mod. Yeah, and as you
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
Yeah, sounds like a regular 76.
it does, man. It does, you know. So that, you know, and these audience, you know, they're very transparent.
Yeah.
You know, they're 8 in, 8 out.
Yeah.
And I have the 2 Apollos here, you know.
Yeah.
So most of the stuff, you know, that I'm not doing here,
Yeah.
I've got this 737 as
Yeah, you got
well.
the Avalon. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So
And I see you got the D box too.
got the D box, you know, love that. But other than that, everything else I'm doing is in the
It's
box.
in the box.
You know, with the UAD stuff.
UAD stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So as far as when we talking like mixing plugins and doing all that, what's your go to for that kind of stuff? What are you doing in the box on that?
Of course, I love the LA2A. You know, love that. Got to have that. The Fab filter stuff.
Yep.
You know, I gotta have the Fab filter stuff. I go to a lot of stuff, man, as well. That's in Plug-in Alliance.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and even on my mix bus, you know, I always have set in there's it's called the master desk.
Ah, yeah. I played around with that. The one thing I've been using lately, what's it called? Put me on it. Dan Scheich put me on it. SPL Iron.
I don't know.
That's through Plug-in Alliance.
Okay.
It's called SPL Iron.
Iron. Okay, I gotta
pretty-
check that out.
Yeah, Scheich is part of his in the box chain.
So
for mastering.
is it processing or
It's just like it's color.
Okay.
He's not even. It's a compressor. It's,
Yeah.
You know, it does compression and all of that.
Yeah.
But what he's primarily using it for, at least when we were sitting, he was showing it to me. It's just there as a part of the coloring part of the chain.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it comes out. He's doing his surgical EQ. He's doing his hardware, and he's going in the box.
Yeah.
And he's got a few things in the chain. We have a video on the channel where he's showing it actually. But SPL is right in the chain. It's just like a part of it. So when I saw him use it, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But that's one of the only things I think I'm using from Plug-in Alliance.
Okay. And I go to the Slate stuff, you know, the
Yeah.
VMR stuff. And now I used to, in terms of saturation and getting the tape emulation, pull up the Studer.
Yeah.
But I ran across this. I actually pulled it up by accident, and it's I think it's in that Plug-in Alliance too. It's the BX op pedal.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
Man, that thing does wonders in terms of saturation. Yes, sir. Yeah, so you know, so it's a few things I go to. Yeah.
You tell me to sit up. We'll cut it out. I was slouched. This chair comfortable, man. Lean back, you know. No, that's crazy. So okay, the Slate stuff, all of that BX stuff, Plug-in Alliance, anything else doing it for you in the box?
Let me see. Well, once we open up a session, I'll
Yeah,
show
we'll
you.
be able to see that
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. But the dog choice is Pro Tools.
Oh
Right?
man, of course. Of course, I know it. I know you the studio one dude.
Well, I've been mixing
Yeah.
it. I've been mixing in Pro Tools actually for 2 years
Okay,
now.
yeah.
I've been mixing in Pro Tools for a couple of years.
Now, but to be honest with you, there are some elements in Studio One that I like over Pro Tools.
Yeah.
You know, and I wish Pro Tools would get
agree.
a hold to that drag and drop too, man.
Man, that's what won me over with Studio One was the drag and drop workflow.
Yeah.
Just boom.
While you still going,
While
man.
you're still going,
Yeah.
and drag a compressor over here. Drag it. It
Exactly.
just makes it so much quicker. And then, so I don't know if you've been paying attention to the newest Studio One 6. They just dropped this thing called Mix Scenes.
I saw that.
And
saw
so
that.
I started playing around with it a few weeks ago because I've been hearing about it. But you get in your workflow and you used to your workflow, and I was like, well, I was setting up our template. We was creating our gospel mixing template, and so I was like, well, let me see what these mix scenes is talking about. Let me see what we can do with these.
Yeah.
And so the dope part about mix scenes is two things that won me over with mix scenes, and I wish, like you said, they would bring stuff like this, not just in the Pro Tools, but into other DAWs. One is visibility, so like I can set up scenes for all of my tracks.
Okay.
So if I can put all my drums in the scene.
Okay.
I can put all my guitars, all of my aux, all of my background vocals, all of my everything, every element of the mix, I can put it into a scene. And then I can hide all of the other tracks when I open up that scene.
So put a pin right there.
Yeah.
So is that the same? It sounds like that's in Pro Tools. It may not be, but it sounds like that's the same as the master folders.
Almost like master folders, but this is different than folders.
Okay.
This is like because like it also affects your volumes on your mixer and your console.
Okay.
So whatever you set those, you can set them, and that's what I was getting to with even with your mixing part of it.
Yeah.
So like if I want to so when I double tap on like the drums, for instance, if I got all my drums in the scene, so I'm mixing the drums part, I can double click on the drum scene. Every other track disappears. It's nothing but drums in the mixer.
Okay.
It's nothing but drums in the arrangement area.
Now,
Nothing.
let me ask you this. So, is it seamless between between the mixing and then back to your edit flow? Or?
No, it's seamless. Just double click, just clicking on the different areas. Boom, boom, boom. All tracks. Boom. Drums. Boom. Bass. It's
So you don't have to
instantaneous.
come out of the session.
No. No, it's not coming out. And so speaking of coming out of the session, here's the part that really won me over. So you know how when we're mixing, we do mix revision. So it's, R1, R2, R3, R1. And typically we save a brand new session for that mix or what have you.
Right.
So when we send off the draft to the artist, they listen to mix one and then they say, okay, I want this change, this change, this change. So we open up a brand new session. And it's mix two, so we need to go back to mix one. We got to jump back into mix one, do X, Y, Z, and then bouncing between sessions. And you know how Pro Tools is. You gotta close the entire. It closes the entire thing and reopens it again just to change the interface. You just trying to change the interface. You gotta close Pro Tools.
Right.
If you go into a different session, you gotta do the same thing. Well, within Studio One with mix scenes, you can actually. So I can set up all of my, because it remembers all of your faders, where you had your faders located. So this that mix, everything about that mix, I can create a scene that just says mix one. And then I can send it out to the artist. Yeah. And then when they ask for whatever revisions, whatever, and I can go in and create a new scene that says mix two. Okay. And then I can do whatever edits or whatever. So you know how finicky, let's just keep it a buck, how artists and producers and other people can be. They'll say, oh man, that was cool, but I like the way the drums was sitting in mix one. Right. You kind of flipped this a little bit and they kind of threw some stuff. And like, okay, cool. Well, I can double click in mix scenes in mix one, go back to mix one, keep the drums where they are. And then I can also move the other stuff from scene two, from mix two, into that. So it's just like a seamless flow. It's almost like you can have all of your scenes, it's just a dope workflow. And that's really what's been winning me over with Studio One.
See, I like that, because Pro Tools has a hint of that. Yeah. By being able to import session data.
In session data, yeah.
But the thing is, though, if you manipulated the audio, but you still got to import that whole track.
You got to track that whole track. Yeah.
So okay,
There's
Studio One.
It's some really good contender against Pro Tools. It's definitely there. And the workflow is there, and so that's why you're seeing a lot of people jump ship from Pro Tools. And then they got the whole Pro Tools mode as well, because you can set your key command. So if you're used to a certain workflow in Pro Tools, you can set your key command to Pro Tools mode, and it's the same way. If you're coming from Logic, you can set it to Logic mode, and you got the same flow. So it's like Logic and Pro Tools. I always say, like, Logic and Pro Tools got together and had a baby and called it Studio One.
Most definitely.
And so that's one of the things that's always. And then I just as a joke, I always tell my friends, like, to me, I think the people that did Studio One is I think they're saved. I think they're of God. Because here's the funny thing. Here's something that probably nobody ever paid attention to. So if you look at the word just Personas,
okay, yeah.
If you take their logo Personas, it's pre, right, and then they have the Sun, SON,
okay,
capitalized.
Yeah.
The Sun, the S in Sun is capitalized.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
so it's pre and then Son, and then it's us. Now, if you take that and even you be spiritual with it, pre means before, Son being the Son of God, and us. So Personas literally means the Son is before us.
Come on. You put it together.
The Son is before us. That's what Persona stands for.
Yeah, come on now.
But the other part about it, when you start looking in there, it's something to it. I'd love to talk to them one day just to see what they're thinking about, because like their sampler, because every DAW has a sampler.
Right.
Logic has the EX, 24, the sampler and all that stuff like that. The sampler inside of Studio One is called Presence.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay, so they all say
they say it's
they
so
eat the bread.
They eat the bread.
Yeah.
They at the table.
They at the table.
So it's something about that. We have to explore. Now I hope one day I'll interview those people.
Yeah, let me know,
so
man.
they'll be able to tell us. We actually secretly Christians, and we try to sneak the gospel into.
It's
called Studio One.
Yes, sir.
He is the one.
Yes, sir.
So it's something to it.
He is the one.
It's something to it. I don't know what it is, but they got some sauce over there. So okay, in the box, you're doing those things like that. What are some of the things that you're working on now? That's what's on your desk, on your table right now? What are you moving into? What's the projection of what you're doing in these next?
Now, actually, so I'm preparing for a live recording. Local artist Mitchell Johnson and Rehoboth.
Okay.
Wonderful choir. I'm in pre-production. Well, I'm on the back end of the pre-production stage for that, and preparing for. I did the track for the scene that's going to be at the Gospel Superfest.
Oh wow! Okay.
In Jacksonville, Florida. So Lejeune and I we're performing that as well.
Wow.
There. So I'm preparing for that. Preparing for Lejeune's record.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm into the film thing. So just trying to keep it all moving, and really, where my heart is as well is more into the mentoring. Yeah. The mentorship as well. So I'm getting ready to launch that.
Nice.
I'm calling it Ced Talks.
Come on.
So so those are some of the things.
Building.
Yeah.
Wow. So okay, so a couple of the other dynamics I want to dig into before we kind of close it out. One being what is that dynamic? Can you talk to that dynamic a little bit? I think we did a podcast on it years ago, but I want to kind of refresh with it with being married to Lejeune, who's also an artist, and then you guys having to do ministry as well, and then raising a family as you being what has that been like, raising a family, both of y'all being in the industry and in ministry at the same time, and then raising, Cedric Thompson and all of these people, what is that family? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, most definitely.
Dynamic.
So we,
because y'all been married, how many years?
It'll be 35 years, December 17th.
Wow.
It'll be 35 years. And thankfully, the both of us were already in the music,
Yeah.
industry. So that level of understanding,
Yeah.
I guess if you would say almost kind of grandfathered in,
Yeah.
in terms of, the movement and,
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of
scheduling.
get it. Yeah.
You know, we our thing has always been to focus on family.
Yeah.
Even when one of us are away, especially while the kids were in school, they were very active in sports and different
Yeah.
activities. So
Yeah.
we always made sure, that at least one of us, was
Yeah.
always present. And
That's so cool.
also to give you a story, and I'm sharing this because I've seen how music in the music industry, can
Tear this
tear
stuff.
up
Yeah.
families. I was this time I was pretty heavy in travel,
Okay.
and so I remember I was coming off of a tour, get ready to go to do I think a Bishop T.D. Jakes record. I came in enough time, to wash clothes, get a couple hours of sleep,
Yeah.
see the kids off. As I went in to go see my kids off before they, was going to school, my youngest, he was 10 at the time.
Was it CJ? This was CJ.
Chandler.
No, Chandler. Okay.
And he said, Dad, what are you doing here? He said, I didn't think you lived here anymore. Hit me like a ton of bricks. And from there, I was like, no, I can't let this, do this to my family like this.
Wow.
We even when we're away, as we shared with you before, we make sure that we pray.
Yeah.
LeJune and I, we make sure we start our day off together.
Yeah.
Even if we're away, we call each other and we pray with each other.
Wow.
In the whole nine, and we understand, even knowing, when it's time to be able to give each other space.
Yeah. It's important.
Because everybody needs it.
Man.
No matter how much in love you are,
No,
you need that space.
You do. You do. Trust. I get it.
Yeah, so we understand that dynamic, and I tell you, one of the things that I wished we had learned early on, though, was and we didn't know it because we got married so young.
Yeah.
Was the importance of the essentials.
Okay.
In terms of financing.
Okay.
Credit.
Okay.
Things of that nature. Because to be honest with you, man, it was. We eventually got it right, man. But it was the church that jacked up
Oh man.
my credit, man. No, literally.
Oh, literally, they dragged up your credit.
Literally, because we were in a situation where they were taking care of the home allowance.
Okay. Yeah.
But they were supposed to have been paying it directly. Only to we come home one day, yellow notice on the door, jacked us up, man. So,
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
yeah. So, and that was early on in the whole nine. So, again, and we learned, also, no matter how much you're ministry driven, family comes first.
Oh yeah, man. You got to.
We've seen so many people get it backwards. It's God, the church, then the family.
Then family.
That's backwards.
Dang.
That's backwards. And we had to realize that, man, because we found ourselves, like I said early on. I mean, we was in church all the time, man.
Yeah.
And find ourselves, not, even though we're together, but not having time for each other.
Gosh.
And
We did that. Yeah, we had that same dynamic too. And it's funny, we almost had like a similar situation. We ended up having to, it was again, the church. They had, I was working for the church that I was at, and we were W-2 employees.
Okay, yeah.
But they weren't paying the taxes.
Oh,
And so the IRS came after us.
wow.
For those taxes. And this has been going on for years that they hadn't paid taxes, and then we didn't know anything was going on.
Wow.
Until, we've been getting refunds and everything because we've been filing with that level of income, saying that this is what was held, this is what was taken out. And they weren't taking it. They were saying, putting on paper that they were taking it out, but they actually weren't paying it.
Wow.
And we ended up having to file bankruptcy, foreclosed on my house because of it. Yeah.
Been through it.
Been through the ringer because of that. So yeah, I agree with what you said wholeheartedly.
Yes, sir.
That you must get that dynamic right.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, so many young couples get into it, and they get it backwards. Like you said, they don't understand that dynamic, and it should be the other way around. And once we figure that dynamic out, like I'm sure you'll say, that's when our marriage, everything, finances, everything begin to soar.
And I tell you the other thing too, man. It's important. We hear couples talking about, and speaking about them loving each other.
Yeah.
But you don't hear people a lot speaking about the like that they have with each other. Me and the June like each other, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we love and we're in love with each other. Yeah. But we like each other, man.
Yeah.
We do. I mean, we love having fun with each other and the whole nine, man. So I think that's important, man.
That's the principle. If
Yes,
you don't
sir.
like them, you can love people. It's a lot of people that I love that I don't like.
Come on.
I'm just keeping it a buck.
Yeah.
Like family people, all
but
of that.
the sad thing, man, it's a lot of couples that
that
to that point love each other but don't like each other.
Don't like each other. That's a big thing, man. You got to.
Yeah.
You got to. So what has that also been like, trying to raise the family in that? So with your children, what the importance of how you were able to raise your children in that dynamic with both of y'all being in the industry and all of that stuff like that. And now seeing how CJ is starting to
most
push
definitely.
So
the thing that we were grateful for as well is that we've always had a village.
Yeah.
And so during those times when the both of us, most of the time, we tried to take our kids with us.
Yeah.
Of course, we couldn't do it every time.
Yeah.
But those times when both of us were away, we had a village around us, especially on the June side while we was in Greensboro. There's 10 of them, six sisters and 4 brothers.
Jeez.
So
that's a literal village.
Yeah, literally. So a few of the sisters and friends, we've just always been able to have that village.
That's good.
And but we make sure that they were raised with the fear of the Lord.
Yeah.
The whole night. The one thing, if I would be totally honest, that I do regret,
okay,
is that working in the capacity that I do, and LeJune as well, having to work so closely with those in the industry, they've seen that dark side.
Oh, yeah.
And we had one of our sons, our middle son, one time, because Chris, great singer.
Yeah.
Great singer. But because he had seen so much,
the negative side of the gospel industry,
he didn't want to do it.
Wow.
Didn't want to do it. So that's the part of it,
that people don't see. Stuff that people don't tell you.
That they don't tell you. Exactly. And then like I said, because we work so closely with people, our kids, they experience, some negativity, not necessarily with us, but just seeing, the character of others and unnecessary,
that's real, man.
chaotic stuff, But other than that, man, we've always, just made sure that, we were there for our kids, and never pushed, and especially even with CJ.
Yeah.
Never pushed him into, doing this music thing, If this is what you're gonna do, it's gonna be because this is what you want to do, and this is what you love doing.
Yeah.
You know,
I've been the same way with my children. Like,
yeah.
my wife has always been like, well, why don't you teach them how to play piano? Why don't you do this? I'm like, if they want to do it,
Not go force it on them.
they need to do it.
And
Like,
prime example. So CJ, of course, he does what he does. He's musical. Chris is musical as well. Chris just don't want to do a whole lot of it. But he plays drums at the church.
Yeah.
Chandler, our youngest son, Chandler don't want anything to do with the music.
He said,
So
I'm good.
Yeah, he's all about going to get that.
That's the one told you. This one told you. I don't think you. I didn't know you thought you was still living.
That's
here.
the one. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. That's the one.
Nah,
So
I'm good.
But we're grateful for them, man, and the whole nine, and proud of the young men that they come up to be.
Yeah, man.
And like I said, CJ, he's traveling everywhere.
Yeah.
Chris doing what he does Chris has a very entrepreneurship amount of thinking, and Chandler as well.
Yeah.
So we're very proud of him, man. And
Wow. That's amazing. So one other thing I want to speak to is, I know you had a health scare recently.
I did.
And you kind of went through some things with that. So I wanted to get you to kind of share that. I don't know how much of that you shared publicly.
Oh no, it's no problem.
With that, but if you can kind of speak to that. That your health and how you kind of transitioned through that, what happened, how you kind of got through, and how you kind of bounced back, because now you're in a much better place now than you were.
And done
shedded
more pounds.
You shedded some pounds. You shedded and then added, but you in a better place though.
That part. Yeah. So this was during the pandemic period.
Okay.
LeJune and I, at this point, we had decided, to start making more healthier choices. So, we started working out more, and taking routes in terms of our walking and the whole nine. So I started noticing my breathing, was being challenged.
Okay.
And because we were at the point of walking with maybe 8 miles or so.
Oh wow!
And so I remember this particular day, we were going up a hill, and I had to stop, because I was like, I couldn't make it. I had to literally. I tried to keep going. I had to stop again, and I literally just had to turn around and go back home. So that kept happening every day.
Wow.
And it was getting more aggressive every day.
Okay.
As well. So, and I'm thinking, so I'm like, oh man, I know I don't have COVID. So
that's first thought. Yeah.
First thought.
Yeah.
So got tested, wasn't COVID. But I'm still having problems, man. And so now it has gotten to the point that I would go in and even try to sit down, do some production, do some work. Couldn't even get through that, and just end up going to bed.
Wow.
Having to lay down, and I was just that weak. Then it got so during this point we were at the church. We were just doing virtual.
Yeah.
So we would still go to the church, but it was just myself, praise and worship leader, and the pastor. It would take everything within me just to go from my door to my vehicle.
Wow.
I would get in the vehicle, sit there, maybe 5 minutes just to gather myself.
Dang.
Drive to the church, and would literally have to prep myself to get from the church, get from my vehicle inside of the church.
Wow.
I would get inside the church, sit on the keyboard, and just kind of be there for a minute.
Wow.
To gather myself, because I feel like it literally just feels like I'm about to just pass out.
Jeez.
So that goes on for several weeks, and one of the services, the virtual service that we were doing, I remember sitting at the keyboard playing, and I feel like I got this feeling I'm passing out.
Yeah.
And I could feel myself fading.
Wow.
You know, and I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe, because these lights too.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get up, go to the bathroom, gather myself, come back. I remember, and I guess this may be the male side of us. And well, I'm not gonna put every male in this category, but most of us males, we wait until it's to the point of having to go to the doctor. So
them having to take us to the doctor.
Take it to the
physically,
doctor.
we can't do it ourselves.
Exactly. So I'm at that point now.
Wow.
So and it's at the point that someone has to watch me 24/7.
Jeez.
So Lejeune had to go to Chicago to do a virtual. Donald was doing the McDonald's Gospel Fest virtual.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So he did it in Chicago. She went there, and Chris, our middle son, he stayed with me. I went to the doctor, to check out everything what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
That next morning, they called me and told me that I immediately need to go to the emergency room. That I needed to get several pints of blood. And my hemoglobin was down to nothing, basically. No B12.
Wow.
So I go to the hospital. They give me several pints of blood, and they keep me. And I was there for about 2 weeks or so this time.
Jeez.
They're running all kind of tests. Can't find anything. And asking me, whether, have I noticed any passing of blood? Hadn't noticed anything. So they actually told Lejeune that they called it idiopathic.
Okay.
Because they didn't know what it was, couldn't find anything.
Interesting.
So I remember being discharged from the hospital. I remember going to the grocery store, and I received a call, and it was the doctor was telling me that what they found was cancer. So I called Lejeune, told Lejeune, and literally, even during this time, I thought I was out of here.
Yeah.
But and ironically, even before that, Lejeune, I didn't know why she was doing this.
Yeah.
But I would find her like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, laying on my stomach, just praying.
Wow.
And she told me that the Lord just started directing her to lay on my stomach and just pray.
Gosh.
Didn't know why. So they said that they found a tumor.
Okay.
So I went in, they had the procedure done. They ended up removing 5 tumors. And they told me that my cells over the years had developed antibiotics system where they fight each other.
Yeah.
And it formed cancer, and but this December past, I had my checkup, doing fine. Wow. I have to get B12 injections.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thank God.
Wow, man, that's amazing. And then even thinking back to what you just said about Lejeune, that's where a place where it matters who you marry.
Come on.
It really does, man. Because it's some women that would have, especially some of nowadays women and stuff I be seeing out there. They just would have waited for you to get up out of here and collect the check.
They would have. And I mean, I can honestly say that Lejeune is a prayer warrior, man.
Wow.
She's always been that.
Yeah.
So I thank God, for having a virtuous woman.
Yeah, man. It matters, man, and it's good to speak to that because, like you said, a lot of us we don't take our health seriously until our health becomes serious.
That part.
You know,
Yes.
we really don't. And I'm a victim of that. Last year, around about this time, I almost went into a diabetic coma.
Oh wow.
You
Wow.
know, around about this time last year. Yeah. And
yeah, I remember having a conversation with
Yeah.
you, and you were telling me about the changes that you
yeah,
needed to
I
make.
had to because you know I wasn't taking. I mean, if anybody had talked to me before, and I thought I was doing all right.
Wow.
But I was between 250 and 260.
Okay. Okay.
I was up there, and so after the incident I had where I almost passed out in the middle of the night.
Wow.
Ended up going to the hospital. My A1C was 12.1. And you know they now that's their scale. I think they can go higher than that, but their scale I think stops at 14. So you know I was at the top of the
Wow.
Richter scale
Yeah,
on
most
that kind of
definitely.
thing, and so and at that time my sugar was it was over 300.
Wow.
You know, and I had like
Over
the
300.
they said the doctor said I had 1,000 milliliters of sugar in my urine.
Oh my.
So I was literally peeing sugar.
Wow. Wow.
Like that, because my body would not process it.
Right. Right.
So it was
right.
just dumping it back into the blood.
Wow.
All of it, because it couldn't do anything with it. And so, so you know, of course, that makes your kidneys work harder and all of that. So you're peeing. I remember that's the only thing I can remember that was a symptom of what I was going through. I was
Yeah.
peeing it felt like every 20 minutes I was going to the bathroom.
Wow.
And that was why, because it was just so much sugar in my system. And people think I wasn't eating crazy. I wasn't eating honey buns and,
Yeah.
you know, cakes every day. I was
Right,
just,
right.
you know, but I had a lot of processed carbs, a lot of processed
Wow.
food,
Wow.
a lot of stuff that people don't know that stuff converts to sugar when
Okay,
it gets
yeah,
in
yeah.
your body.
Exactly.
And so yeah, I had a lot of stuff. So I had to overhaul my diet completely.
Wow.
And within a year, I've lost about 50 pounds.
Oh, good.
And pretty much turned my A1C is I think 5.5
Oh,
now.
come
So
on.
it's almost 5.4 is
Yeah,
normal,
yeah.
considered normal. So I'm right on the edge.
Yes, sir.
Oh, norm. So yeah, but I had to get to a point, and all I did was take walks,
Yeah.
change my diet. I'm eating just basically fish and chicken, you know, just keeping my diet simple and just walking, and lost that weight and started taking but now I look back on it, I think about like all of the people, you know, some big musicians, big producers that we done known over the last
Oh man.
couple of years that have
Yeah.
just checked up out of here because of
And
just
even now, you know,
Yeah.
there's a few of our colleagues and
Yeah.
whatnot, you know,
that are
they're
going through.
dealing with some health challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, and it's simple things that I think if we, like you said, took our health seriously, go to the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if I went to the doctor, so when I went to the hospital, that was the first time I had been to a medical facility of any
wow.
kind
Okay.
in probably 10 years.
Wow. Wow.
You
Wow.
know, and because in my brain, as the man, you know, I'm all right, I'm okay.
Yeah,
Give me a
yeah.
couple of days.
Yeah.
I'll be all right. Whatever
And to
this is.
And to that point, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
But to that point, because I had always had the signs, you know, I remember explaining to the hematologist.
Yeah.
He kept asking me, you know, describe what it was I was feeling.
Yeah.
And in describing it to him, you know, I was thinking, you know, I've been having this symptom all along, and it always felt like, you know how, but I don't want this to be vulgar.
Yeah.
But you know how it feels like if you have to have a bowel movement
Yeah.
and a hungry pain,
Yeah.
I would get those consistent.
Wow.
You know, it felt like both of those at the same
Same
time.
time.
But it was a few years I kept feeling. I mean, but it would happen sporadically.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I was like, you know, I just kept putting it off.
Yeah, that's what we do, and we normalize it. And I had my own father had some health issues and stuff that happened over the last few years, and I remember we were talking, and he was telling me, you know, and I was like, well, did you have any indication, that this was happening or whatever? And he was just like, he said because he went to the doctor, and they, of course, he had some blood issues, some things going on with his kidneys and all that. So they started putting through all that stuff. And then he said, I've never felt this good in years. And he said, I had gotten so used to how bad I was feeling, that I didn't even know I was feeling bad.
It was the norm for him.
Until I felt good. Now I feel good.
Wow.
And he said, but I didn't realize I had normalized the bad feeling. Like I had normalized this is just how old I'm just old.
Most
you know?
definitely, yeah.
And this is how I'm supposed to feel as I'm getting older. And he didn't realize that no, these are symptoms of something that if he had tackled years ago, you know, just did something as simple as just went to the doctor.
Pay attention.
Pay attention, like you said, you know, like and like even with myself, if I had been to the doctor anytime within the last decade, the doctor would have told me, hey, your A1C is a little high. It's looking at 6.1 or 7. They could have caught it way before it got to 12.
Yeah, wow.
You know, and I could have avoided a lot of that. They said change your diet then. I could have lost weight way before then, you know, but it takes those events. A friend of mine calls them C events.
Okay.
He said it's significant emotional event.
Yeah.
He said most of us don't see until something like that happens.
Wow.
Then we start to see
good.
what we need to change. But sometimes humans need a significant emotional event to change their outlook or their aspect on stuff.
So what's the difference that you feel in terms of?
Oh, I feel like I feel like I have a new body.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a whole new person.
Wow.
You know, just and you don't realize it, like you said, because I used to get winded going upstairs. I'm talking like 10 steps coming out of my basement up to the house. I'm just like, God, how heart pounding.
Right.
I'm like, what is going on? God, I'm just tired. I feel like going to sleep after just going up the stairs. And now I run up the stairs.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
like I'm 12, you know? And so it makes a big difference when you're able to, you know, when you feel better, and then that translates to every other aspect of your life, from your production to your music, to your finances, to the way you conduct business, the way you interact with your spouse.
It does.
Like when you got more energy with your children, all of those things change when you feel better.
It does.
Yeah,
it
man.
does. I totally agree.
Man, good stuff, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the opportunity to pour out your career. Some of the stuff that you know been a pleasure to be a part of. Oh, wow. I appreciate all of the insight and wisdom that you've given us on production, on music, on life, on marriage, on children, on health. It's just amazing just to be able to connect with you on this stuff.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. And you know, like I said, always. You know,
yes, sir.
I consider you family. Wow. You know, so. It's my honor, man. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I hope this has been both enlightening, entertaining, and educating for you. So, Sid, if they want to connect with you, if they want to follow you, if they want to do all those things, how do they reach out to you and connect with you?
Email is cedric@cedricthompson.com. You can find me as well on Facebook at Cedric Thompson, and on Instagram as well.
Awesome. Well, all right, folks, that's all we got for you today. We appreciate you. Make sure you guys check out some of the other episodes we got with many other of your favorite producers and engineers and all of the like. And we'll talk to you guys on the next one. We out. Peace. Yo, thank you for watching that exclusive clip from the Hangout Podcast. We drop these on the channel on Wednesdays, and we appreciate you guys for taking out the time and watching this. If you're interested in seeing more of these exclusive interviews that we have, make sure you check out the playlist over here. If you're interested in taking your production, mixing, or whatever to the next level, make sure you hit the links down below in the description. All right, we'll talk to you guys on the next one. I'm out. Holla at your boy.